My name's Emma Clark. I'm an employment and partnership lawyer, and I've been at Keystone for just over 1 year. I started my career at Allen & Overy, where I trained and spent 9 years in total at the firm. I then moved to 2 boutique firms, and I was a partner in the second boutique firm for the last 6 years before I joined Keystone. I actually heard about Keystone through an outplacement consultant to whom I refer work. We were going out for lunch, and I mentioned to him that I felt I was treading water and not challenging myself. He suggested I looked at Keystone, who I hadn't actually heard of, and I was really impressed when I met the directors. One of the great things about Keystone compared to other law firms that I was meeting was the fact that I didn't have to give up my senior exec practice if I joined Keystone. Half my practice is senior execs and half are organisations, and a number of the firms that I was speaking to didn't want me to have any senior exec clients. I've enjoyed working at all of my previous firms. I think the exciting thing about Keystone is the total autonomy you have over your client relationship, and obviously the fact you are financially remunerated for every piece of work that you do. I found it very easy to integrate, having joined Keystone. Within the second day of being here, Central Office had introduced me to the lawyers that I needed to support my practice, from immigration and pensions to incentives and regulatory. And during the period of my restricted covenants, Keystone were really helpful at introducing me to other lawyers across the firm whose clients needed employment and partnership advice. Being an employment and partnership lawyer, the relationship with clients is very personal, and they tend to come to you because they're referred by friends or referred by external law firms. And therefore, it wasn't hugely important to my clients which firm I was based at. It was obviously a huge benefit to them that Keystone had other areas of law which turns out to be very supportive for their particular matter, and it meant I don't always need to refer it outside of the firm and we can do it in-house. My practice is divided into supporting senior execs on employment and partnership matters and supporting organisations. It depends on my client matter as to how much support I need from colleagues. On litigation, I particularly need support from paralegals, trainees and juniors for researching and bundling, and Keystone Central Office provide all of that, and the quality of that support is really impressive. I also need support from senior lawyers in terms of regulatory, immigration, incentives and pensions, particularly for my senior execs. And Keystone have got lots of those brilliant lawyers in-house, and I can refer that work to them. And I do, almost on a daily basis. I would say there isn't a Keystone type. Everyone is quite different, but the unifying factors would be the responsiveness, the seniority, that they're generally really quite fun people, and they're very knowledgeable. In terms of meeting up with them, it's so much easier to get to know your colleagues, ironically, than it is at a firm where everyone's based in the same office. And that's because we have regular networking events organised by Keystone Central Office, and also because I hot desk a lot and there's often people in the hot desking area. And because you don't have management meetings and partners meetings, it means you've got that time to get to know your colleagues over a coffee or a lunch or Skype meeting. I've been really impressed by the support services at Keystone. When you join, they tell you that you are their client and their colleague, and they really do treat me in the same way I treat my clients. They're responsive, they're helpful, and particularly the regulatory team and the conflicts team get back to you very quickly with really thoughtful answers, and there's a real can-do attitude, which is hugely welcome. I wasn't expecting a number of opportunities that have arisen over the last year, and I wasn't expecting that to happen at Keystone. The first one would be the support from the marketing team, both in terms of helping me put together pitches for some great organisations, and second, in terms of putting me forward for directories, which is really exciting and something that hasn't happened before. Also, working for Keystone has massively improved the quality of my work, and I'm not sure why that is, but I understand that is quite common with a number of Keystone lawyers. And it might be that external referrers don't see Keystone as competitive, or it might be because of the quality of internal referrals, but it's certainly been a wonderful year in terms of quality of work. All my previous firms have been hugely supportive about the flexibility and balance with family life. What Keystone's provided me with is autonomy over the client relationships and a huge amount of choice. So whilst I might be working longer hours than I have worked before, that's all my own choice. And when you are working late in the evening and at the weekends, it's hugely comforting to know that you're being financially remunerated for that. If you're looking at joining Keystone, I'd like to give you 2 pieces of advice. first of all, speak to a Keystone lawyer. We're all fairly evangelical about the firm, whether we've been here for a year or 10 years, and I think it'd be really helpful to understand what it's like to be a consultant here. And secondly, I'd say make sure you back yourself. If you're a partner or a senior associate in a law firm, you're already having to bring in work and expected to bring in that work. So why not move to Keystone where you'll be financially remunerated for that work? And it's worked for me, so I would recommend you consider it.